Goeienaand en baie welkom by die Losgemaal. Ek probeer nou al die hele week dink aan iets anders as om te sê dis donderdag aand, so ek gaan maar eerder sê dis 15:15 Vrydag. Baie lekker rugby die afgelope naweek gewees en ook baie lekker wedstryde op pad hierdie naweek. Die Losgemaal vanaand bietjie anderste, ons gaan vir julle wys, ons kan regtig ook Engels praat. Ons het 'n gas al die pad van Ierland af wat saam met ons gaan gesels. Maar eerstens my goeie vriend wat ook kan bewys daar is mense in die Vrystaat wat kan Engels praat, meneer Renen Steenekamp wat ons gas ook gaan voorstel. Renen, hoe gaan dit met jou?
Hallo JP, almal wat kyk. Ja nee, wat dit gaan goed. Dankie JP. Ja, Engels, ons kan hom praat hierso. Party van ons praat om aan selfverdediging. Hang maar wat se tyd vir die dag jy ons vang en as jy ou onkant vang, dan praat jy noodwendig in selfverdediging, maar wat? Nee, as sien uit om rugby te gesels vanaand, groot games die naweek. So ja. So welcome to Keegan, my good mate, Neil Keegan, all the way from Ireland. Neil is a guy that I've had the privilege to share a screen with on occasion a couple of years ago. It's been too long, but I think it's been 6 years already. It's too long, that's inexcusable. So welcome back. Well,
my wife on
our program.
My wife wishes I wouldn't speak to her for 6 years. No, absolutely great to meet you guys. One day it'll be over a pint, but right now over here in Ireland, we're very nervous, very excited. We don't really know what to think at the moment, but it's great to meet you guys.
Awesome, Neil. It's great to have you on. We look forward to your insights. Obviously, we're going to keep the Bokke and the Irish game for the end and quickly run over a couple of other things. It's been an interesting week in the news. A brand new tournament that's been announced, which is quite interesting. North versus South. I think that's something that the pundits have been calling for. If we look at fixture-wise, just very shortly, New Zealand versus France, Japan versus Italy, South Africa versus England can be very interesting. The Irish are up against Australia in the first round. Very interesting. Japan in the second round and then New Zealand in the third round. I don't know what your feelings are about that, Kigo.
Well, I anytime we get more rugby, it's a good time. But I'm starting to worry about the amount of minutes in all of these players' shoes. By the time we get to the season, is nearly 15 months at this stage. I don't know how they get this much rugby in the year. So I was looking at before jumping on here with you guys. I was looking at the Irish guys and how they had. Okay, we're managed differently here, which is fine, but. They went from the league and Europe into Lions prep. They got 2 weeks off. Some of them had babies, which means they didn't sleep. And then we're straight into European rugby, straight into the November tests, and then back into the kind of the meat of the European rugby kicks off not long after the game finishes on Saturday. So I love watching it. It's going to be fantastic. The worry and the balance is player safety and player welfare.
Yes, Renan, and then obviously squad depth, because obviously the more internationals you have, I spoke to the guys at the Lions the other day. So even if you're picked on the bench, that counts towards a game. And I know there's only on our side only a number of games you're allowed to participate in. But yeah, a hell of a lot of rugby, Renan, and I know you're not too fond of the whole idea.
Yeah, well, yes, Neil actually touches on a very valid point here where he says player welfare and again the amount of minutes, but just from an old school point of view, while Neil is correct, but I want to add to that is I'm not a fan of this format at all. We are used to having a country come to South Africa and play, well, usually 3 tests, lately 2 tests, but it's a series. Okay, you have France going to Australia, they play 3 games. You have Wales coming here and play 3 games and actually beat the Boks in Bloemfontein. I was there. You have England going to New Zealand and flipping well, nearly beating them at Eden Park, and then the next week they play each other again because you want closure on these kind of things. That's not been taken away. I'm not crazy about it. The amount of travel is insane. I mean, you've got a country flying down from the northern hemisphere to Australia, then to South Africa, and then to Japan. That kind of thing. It doesn't make sense to me. It's too much. And it's going to cost a hell of a lot of money, and then they say that the sport is too expensive. The overheads are too high. And then they decide on this kind of itinerary. Makes no sense to me. Another just quick thing that I want to add here, JP, if they want to grow the game through this, then at least make it make sense. They've got Japan as a Southern Hemisphere team. Bullshit, Japan is in the Northern Hemisphere. And easily so too. But they've got them as a Southern Hemisphere team. Really, we're not children. Rather come with an understandable concept, and don't throw away the values of the game, i.e., tours in consecutive tests against a given opponent. And I'm not a fan of this, really, and I know I'm not alone in this as well.
The only thing that I'm fond of, well, that sounds good to me, instead of having Italy here for 2 weeks and then Georgia, we now have a couple of heavyweights here from the Northern Hemisphere. So that's something to look forward to. And we can have a quick talk with that Pollock chap from England, hopefully at Loftus or at Ellis Park, and have a couple of box run onto him and see if he also licks his lips off when the box is on the way to him. I don't know how you Irish guys feel about him.
Yeah, he's got a great head of hair, to be fair to him. Aside from that, we don't like him. We're not looking forward to seeing him in the Six Nations in February. But listen, they're doing some shift over there. And as an Irishman, that's really tough for me to say.
Yeah, believe you me, my friend, I can tell you now, what do they say? The enemy of the enemy is my friend. I think we'll agree over there. We actually like you guys a whole lot better than we like them. I can promise you that. Rightly so. The other part of news before we move on to the games, Franco Mostad's card was rescinded. I think that was sanity that prevailed. Then I'm going to start with you. I just wanted to check. I don't understand why we have the bunker system, but it seems that referees are insistent on not using it. If you send a guy off, and it is the right call to keep him off, he will stay off the field. Why put yourself in the crosshairs and be the topic of discussion rather than use the technology that's been put out there?
Yeah, well, it's there, and these referees get weighed, and they get a report card, and every so often they get, and then they need to give answers. They make so many wrong decisions on the field. Obviously, they allowed some leeway, but they can't always be wrong, and they can't be make blatant mistakes. And this is the case here. They're making blatant mistakes. I mean, it's there. JP, in cricket terms, when an appeal for LBW is referred, and you can clearly see there's no bat involved, then they still go for the ultrasound thing to see if there's bat involved, because they want to play it safe. Now, the exact same thing here. If you've got the technology and you've got a bunker system, 8 minutes for them to make their decisions in. Give them the 8 minutes to make it in. Don't take it on yourself. And I would have said this if this was anybody in any team, because the principle stays unchanged. Use it. It's there.
Hugo, your thoughts on the whole situation?
Yeah, we had our own run-in a couple of weeks ago with Tadhg with Reds being rescinded and things like that. I think it's interesting. Albert had a comment up there a second ago. He's fairly spot on, but it's just the amount of technology around a referee, and they're still petrified to make any call. And the problem is, certainly in our case, in game one, our best player, one of the best players in the world, was off the pitch. And that's 3 minutes into a game, which is just ridiculous. Like, we all know a red card when we see it, and that's it. Like, they're hedging their bets, but it's a red card. We know it. And I think the problem is it's taking too much time. You saw the game Ireland, New Zealand, Chicago the other week, where they were trying to sell it to the Americans, and it was death by analysis. It was non-stop, going upstairs, downstairs. It's very clear. Everything is very clear. We don't need to overcomplicate it. The game is complicated enough, with different laws and changes coming in every other year. Let's not, make it too complicated. The referees are petrified to make a decision, north or south. They're just so scared someone on social media will say something bad about them, when in reality, they should be just making the decision, and that's it. We get on with it. And then for us, as pundits or people who watch the game, we're going to get upset if we get red carded. switch the jerseys and see what we would call. It's like Renan says, same principle, switch the jerseys. Sometimes we have to shut up and kind of go, yeah, if it was the other way around, fair enough. And sometimes we can be naturally aggrieved. So I just think referees are petrified to make any sort of call.
I agree there, but then don't make the call. Send it to the bunker and let them do it. Take away the emotion, take away the crowd, take away all the crap, and move on. Hello to everybody. Albert, Rory, Marlon, and Top Op Britain that asked us the previous point. It is going to be a tournament, so there is a final schedule or semi-finals and finals at the end of the year. If I'm right, for that North-South hemisphere thing. Go and Google it. It's actually quite a complicated thing to get your head around. But it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. Guys, moving on. It's been a great weekend again. A busy weekend in international rugby. If we look at another red card, we just spoke about that. South Africa coming up on top against Italy. England getting a very good win against the All Blacks. I don't know if that was unexpected, but was probably the game of the weekend. Wales celebrating like they won the World Cup, beating Japan. They can just be glad that it's not a fight that broke out, because I think the Japanese would have had the edge there with Eddie on their side. Fiji, that was quite good for a run, gave France a run for their money. And Ireland that had a good win, definitely pulled away from Australia in the second half. Kigo, if I want to ask you, one of the games that stood out for you?
Well, for us, we were, again, we had a really tough start to this November series in that we didn't look like we could pass, catch, kick, or tackle. Aside from that, it was going well. It was we were kind of struggling a little bit, and little pieces were coming together. Not quite any Renan specials just yet, but we started ticking a little bit in the Japan game. Our fitness is coming back in, which is really good. We can't fall away for the last 20 minutes in any game of professional rugby. That should be not allowed. That really helped us against Australia. They're an old team who used to hammer us for fun. Some really, really good stuff coming into the team now. Our line out is starting to function a little bit. We're taking it back and making it a little bit easier to navigate. So we're kind of trying to rebuild that. With Paul O'Connell in the background there, it's only a matter of time to build confidence back up. And there's a lot going on that we don't see. And like we're building up nicely. I would have loved this type of performance maybe a week or two previous, without having me pulling the rest of my hair out watching them. But it was good. It was a good day at the office. It was a good win, understanding that Australia are also rebuilding. So there's no parades or anything here after that performance. But it is a step in the right direction ahead of the big game this weekend.
Renan, touching on that point, Australia is frustrating to me. I mean, they came off that. Maybe they just did it to frustrate us, beat us when me and you went to watch at Ellis Park. And after that, they've been bloody horrible. They haven't... I don't know where they are. I mean, first half, they were in it. I thought, maybe something. But second half just got blown away.
It's Jekyll and Hyde. I don't know. They like you say, back in the Rugby Championship, they were actually playing really good rugby. Against the British Isles Lions, in that second test, they played good rugby. So we know very, very well what they're capable of. The second test. We know what they're capable of. We know what they can do. We know what they can bring, but they're definitely not bringing it, and they're not showing like they are like they're capable of it either. So I don't know. The Wallabies, I think they've got more problems than we realize. I mean, I don't know. You can troubleshoot and look for reasons why they've gone off the boil, but that's not why we're here tonight. But I don't know. If I was a Wallaby supporter, if I was part of the Australian Rugby Union, I would be really worried, because we saw serious signs earlier in the year, and now there's nothing, nada. That's worrying from their point of view. So, well, another week. Week is a long time in rugby. We'll see what they bring this week, but I'm not holding my breath.
Kigo, if we look at Japan and Wales, I must be honest, we spoke about it last week. I was happy with the Wales performance the week before, because against Argentina, they put up a fight. I mean, they still scored at the end of it. So, I mean, that fight is something that can't be bought. But I don't know. It seems like 2 steps forward, 5 steps back. I don't know if they and they're getting injuries like nobody's business. And I mean, they've got the All Blacks and then the Springboks coming up for 2 weeks, so it's going to be a testing 2 weeks for them.
It's unbelievable to watch them because, again, they were a rugby powerhouse. Even in the club game, they had a lot of money behind them. I think the Ospreys won the league a few years in a row. They beat us in the RDS for the league title one year. Things were going well for Wales. They had pedigree there. And all of a sudden, we have a phrase that's probably the same out there. The arse fell out of Welsh rugby. And the money left, the sponsors left, the players went to France. Better food, better looking women, better paychecks, you know yourselves, and then they just can't come back. And like you say, against Argentina, that Welsh stubbornness was there, and that's something, as you say, you can't buy. And it's the very least you need to see when you see someone in your national jersey. And they just, I don't know what it was, because I thought this might be the game where they turn it around. I know Eddie O'Sullivan is a cantankerous person who will get the most out of every single player. But I did think they were on their way slowly but surely. And then everything built up. Their fitness went, their arses started to wobble. When they saw that the scoreline going in the wrong direction, they couldn't handle it. And that's a problem when you're getting beaten regularly at any level of the game in any sport. It's very difficult to navigate that when you know the guy beside you can't do it, the guy on that side can't do it. It's a very tough mindset to come out from, and they are a long, long way from coming out of it.
Yeah, and there's also a lot of fights about staying in the URC. There's one, they want to drop a team or something like that, Rhiannon. So I know there's a lot of politics happening, and we know when that starts in the boardroom, it's never good on the field.
It's a ripple effect, It works in this instance from the top down. When, like you say, when those kind of conversations begin to happen, immediately the players think, oh shit, am I going to have a contract next year? I'm going to find my agent, find myself, like Kigo said, I'm going to get myself to France or wherever, and that's not good for the game, not in general, and also not from a Welsh perspective. These things, I know some unions are, let's call it, better run than others. Some unions have specific, problems and issues that they have to face, which others don't. But it evens out. We've got problems in South Africa that the rest don't know about. Ireland have got problems that we don't know about. The All Blacks, England, you can go down the list. Okay, we have advantages that the rest don't. England have advantages that the rest don't. Scotland do. You can go down the list. The All Blacks. But we all deal with our stuff. And, we try to keep the ship going in as straight a direction as possible. I don't see that in Wales. And that's worrying.
Yeah. And look, there are passionate people. I've spoken about it before. I've met great guys via the URC blog. Christian Wathen, huge support to him and his son Ryan. And Noah, huge Dragon fans. They sent me a Dragons jersey. We sent them a Lions jersey. Great rugby guys. But I'll stick to my point. You haven't heard it before, Kigo, but rugby administrators don't care a hoot about supporters or anything. They just care about money. So we are in it for the love of it. They are in it for the buck of it. That's my honest to God opinion. Guys, I want to just quickly, the last 2 games that I want to touch on. The England against the All Blacks game, was that, Kigo, was it an upset, or was it... did you expect it, or I thought it was going to be between 2 or 3 points either way?
I thought so. That morning, I woke up thinking it'll be close, similar to what you're thinking. And as we went through the days and the highlight videos start showing up, and what England are doing now, and again, as horrible as it's going to make me feel, they are really changing how they do business, which is great. They have a lot of really, really top-notch ball players, which is a different picture that they're showing teams now. And I even though New Zealand hockeyed us a couple of weeks ago, this is far from the New Zealand team that we would expect. And that's what frustrates us in green far, far more, is that team is not where it should be. And so I kind of felt England, for me, I thought it was 2 scores, maybe 3 scores going in. But the closer we got to the game, and then the audience, the arena, the stadium was up for it. They were singing the Sweet Chariot or whatever it is. I love to see that stuff, even though I don't like the song. I love to see the crowd getting into it, and you can see the players respond to it. It's the same for us, same for you guys. And I really felt it was going to be England's day, and I thought they were going to put a big score on as soon as the game started. Now, I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting maybe a little bit less than that, but I thought there was a lot of points in that England team.
Rhiannon, your thoughts on that one?
Yeah, I have to agree. Last week we said close game can go either way. I had the All Blacks for the win, but I can't remember, JP, what you said, but I had the All Blacks for the win. But I wasn't going to be surprised if England wins it, because it was going to come down to a missed penalty kick or, a stupid decision made in the middle of the game somewhere else or whatever. I thought it was going to come down to that, but not this. So the result doesn't surprise me because England may well have won the game anyway. But the manner in which they put the All Blacks away in the second half, that's not the All Blacks that we know, Jane. Far from it. We played them in New Zealand now recently. And yes, we put them away. We put them away in the second half, but without being arrogant, we had a very, very, very good backline that day. And I dare say that England have got a backline that can talk on the same level, for lack of a better term, that we have. And you can see it. These guys are playing good rugby. England is playing damn good rugby. They're well coached. They can defend. That one guy now says Ford isn't, he's not missing his kicks. No, he's not. That puts Albert said that. That's not, that puts the pressure on. It's a very old, very, 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 my head isn't working tonight. It's an old principle of, land your kicks and the pressure will come and you win the game. But you see it. And if you've got the team to back that up, then you get these kind of results. So, yeah, it's there to be seen.
So one game that's not on this list and that completely screwed up my Sunday was that bloody Scotland-Argentina game. It's now 2 weeks in a row. I don't know where at the Scottish rugby headquarters the self-destruct button is, but they seem to find it after bloody week. I mean, they were on their go to go 28-0 up. That intercept happened, and from there it was one-way traffic. What the hell happened there, Rhiannon? What? I have no idea. I still don't have any idea what happened.
The Scotland being Scotland, like you said. Look, winning is a habit and losing is a habit. And again, not being arrogant, and we will get to it now, but the Boks find a way to win. They know how to win. When it's up against them, they find a way to win. Scotland finds a way to lose. I'm sorry to say it. And I like them. I like the Scots. They're passionate people. They've got the their bagpipes. People go apeshit. I love it. That's rugby for me. Okay? But they find a way to lose. We've seen it now. Not only once, but twice, and earlier as well. So it's they need to go have a look at themselves in the mirror. Ask themselves some questions, because they put themselves in winning situations and then they chuck it. That's not acceptable, not at this level. I'm sorry.
Kigo, anything to add there to the commiseration of the Scottish?
It's spot on to my Celtic brothers over there, but I think every team has a turning point and where they can get around a corner, and they were this close to beating the All Blacks the other week, and it didn't happen for them, and you could see everybody in the stadium, everyone in the jerseys just deflate. And Argentina, they've been a thorn in our side since I was probably before I was born. They will never go away, and you really need to keep your hands on their throat for the whole game. And if you let them go, especially when they know you're delicate between the ears. So, if Scotland could have kept themselves ahead and kind of squeaked out a win, maybe they can work with that. But that's two and a bounce that they should have won. And like you say, it's getting into be a habit. I don't want them to break that habit against us in the Six Nations. But, of all the teams of us to be worried about, it's unfortunate, but Scotland and Wales are two teams, without sounding arrogant, that we're not worried about.
Yeah, it is bad. I mean, we've got a lot of guys playing over there. And yeah, I love the passion. I'd love to watch a game there. Really good guys. But yeah, nice guys don't always finish first. Yeah, they said, Scotland could have been tied after the All Blacks. But it's another season of could have, should have, would have, and one of those things, to be honest. All right, guys, moving on. This weekend, the rugby luckily doesn't go away. Nice rugby coming up. Obviously, we'll keep the Boks and the Irish for the end of it. Wales versus New Zealand. Yeah, that's going to be a tough one. The Wallabies versus the French. Scotland versus Tonga. Okay, they might win that one. And then the English up against the Pumas. So go Los Pumas. I'm going to start off over there. If the Pumas can pull another one off, I will be so happy. I don't know what to call it. Kigo, except for our game, which one are you looking forward to this weekend?
France and Australia will be the one I'll watch. I don't get control of the television that often in my house, so I booked it out for those two games. I want to see, like we were talking about earlier on, I want to see something from Australia. As I said in the comment to you guys, Joe is not an Aussie coach. He's a school teacher from Ireland, very strict, very rigid, and he's going to just beat these things into that team. Australia by nature are free people. They're a why not? Why can't I pass? Why can't I kick? Why can't I do whatever? Fantastic athletes as well. I want to see some of that coming out of them. France, I know you guys got the better of them a couple of weeks ago. They're not far away either from being really top of the table regular team. A little bit between the ears on them if DuPont's not in the team, you see them being different. So both teams really want to finish well, and that's I'm going to be glued to the screen for that one.
Rhiannon?
Yeah, for me, England, Argentina for me. Pablo Matera against Smiling Kid. We shouldn't focus too much on one player, but he puts the focus on himself. He's a damn good player. Make no mistake, that kid can play. But he's a bit of a show pony, and he might be getting ahead of himself. This game has this nagging habit of putting you back into your box. Matera may well be that guy this weekend, but just looking past that, as a matchup, England, Argentina will be good rugby. Can England claim yet another Southern Hemisphere scalp? And Neil is correct in what he says. The Argentinians refuse to go away. You don't knock them out. You win them on points. You beat them on points in boxing terms. You don't knock them out. You don't put them away. Doesn't happen. Well, that often we did it earlier this year, and we're fortunate to be able to say that we did. But it's not a regular thing. When you beat them, you say thank you very much. We didn't lose to them, and move on to next week. That's who they've become. So that, for me, that's the game of the week, JP. I'm really looking forward to that one. And yes, obviously our game for me, but we'll get to that now. But outside of the Ireland Springbok game, that's the one for me to watch, England, Argentina.
It's going to be a couple of humdingers, and we hope Scotland can make it past Tonga. Let's just pray that happens, and the bagpipes guys can have something to cheer about, and all of us. Guys, moving on, it all comes down to this. Obviously, this is why we're here. The Irish and the Springbok teams have been announced. I love the fact they're going back to tradition. We're in green and gold. They've not listened to all of the stupid pundits or the stupid administrators about this and that and colorblind and all that crap. Kigo, what do you think about your team that was selected?
I over here we have a big number 10 question. For us, for years we've been, I call it being married to a 10. So whether it's Sexton, O'Gara, Humphreys, all the way back, it's been 110 and that's it. Whereas now I think Farrell, who is much like Razzie for you guys, he is our perfect coach. He gets us. He understands what we're trying to do, why we're trying to do it, and I think he's trying to change a few things. We're seeing other 10s. There's Jack Crowley from Munster who's really playing well, different type of player. So we're starting with Sam, who has a target on him. So especially when you look at your second row, your back row, which is delicious. that's where they're going to be aiming. He is this 6'4" beanpole of an Irish human, and he great boot on him, great pass on him, slightly delicate in defense, which will come to him. But that's kind of where we start. That was the big thing we were waiting to hear from Farrell this weekend. We love Bundy's on the screen there. We love Bundy. I think he's coming into himself a little bit later this year. Obviously, age does that to us all, but he's an ancient man of 32. He's going to be there ready to rock. And then our bench is something that we are really excited about here. Obviously, we've got a Lions front row. We've got recognizable names all around. Mac Hansen is back, really playing like we should have been missing him, and he's amazing. But our bench is pretty impressive. So obviously our front row replacements will always do a job for us. Craig Casey is a great player, similar to Gibson Park, but with a little bit of a quicker pass. Cian Prendergast is a fantastic back row. Crowley's in there, but Tom Farrell is the one to watch, right? He's from Munster. He's been playing great rugby for 2 years, but because of the midfield that we have, Bundy, Ringrose, Henshaw, McCluskey coming in but injured, it's been tough for him to get in. And he played against Leinster a few weeks ago in Croke Park and owned the entire place, owned 80,000 people, and he deserves a spot here. And he's going to have a great shot in against a massive South African team. But as happy as we're going to be, this is the best we have right now, and the coach is going in the right direction. So we're nervous, we're excited, we're welcoming and relishing the challenge, which is something different. For me, I remember when we would see a Springbok jersey and we just look the other way. You know what I mean? All Blacks jersey, we'd look the other way. French jersey, we look the other way. Whereas now we're saying, come on in, guys. Let's have a game here. We're no slouches. We're at the top table too. So come on, let's have a go. And this is a pretty good start, what we have on the screen.
Renan, obviously we spoke about the little wobble they had against the All Blacks in Chicago. I mean, but that is a bit of a showboat game, trying to impress the Americans. Good to have Josh van der Vlier back. Anything else from this team that stands out for you?
Oh, so many names. I just watching this whole 23. I just got this deep feeling of satisfaction that I cannot explain to you, other than this is the matchup for me of the November. France against South Africa was big, and Ireland against the All Blacks was big. Make no mistake. But this is the matchup, and looking at this team, these guys fear nobody. Make no mistake, JP. Like Neil said, in the past they used to look away and let it slide past and go for the next week. Those days are long gone. These guys fear no one. They can beat the Boks. We'll get to our predictions later and what will happen and what. We're looking at the teams first, but just looking at them as a whole, they have no reason to stand back for anybody. Looking at specific players, Andrew Porter stands out for me. Tyke Byrne, Josh van der Vlier, Jameson Gibson Park, James Lowe, Bundy Aki. Well, I'm pretty much naming the whole team, but just a couple of names there. Mac Hansen definitely does. Tom Farrell, like Neil said, he's gonna hit the ground running. It's like a hurricane. That guy's gonna go crazy. So no, and Cian Prendergast as well. No, big names here. All capable players. Bring it on. Massive.
Yeah, we both know. I mean, the last time we guys played, we won the first test, I think, by 1 or 2 points at Loftus. You won the second one. So this is pretty much like a mini final. I mean, everybody's been building up to it. And going to be a great game. Rassi also named his team this afternoon. Kigo, I'm going to start you off. Any surprises or anything that somebody you were looking for that you didn't see, or somebody that you're happy to see or not happy to see?
Well, the beautiful thing about Rassi is you don't really know. And he kind of, there's names obviously that we recognize, whether they're playing here or they have played here. That team is, injuries aside and concussions aside, that team is fantastic. Like it's eye-watering stuff. I think the captain is the perfect captain for a game like this. I think you want someone who's going to just march in there. We have something similar in Doris, but with less experience with the armband. Whereas Khaleesi is a guy who, listen, even in my green jersey, I go to war for that guy. And it's an unbelievable thing he has with that team. Second row competition is going to be great. Back row is going to be spectacular. Obviously, the front row is going to be an absolute war. Back three is amazing. Like, there's nothing in that team that for us on this side, we're going, oh, that's a surprise. We're all going, Jesus, he did it. That's exactly what we knew was going to happen. So now Jaws is circling the boat. That's how we see it. Are we going to take our clothes off and jump in the water? Yes, we are. If you pardon the mental image there.
Before you come in here, JP Kiga, I want to ask you a question here. Take yourself back to 2018 November, Ireland against the All Blacks. Okay? How did you feel the week leading up to that game, and compare that to how do you feel now? Is it similar? Because if it's similar, I'm telling you now, Ireland have every chance of winning this game.
Yeah, so we're in a delicate position here where it hasn't been going for us the way we wanted it to go. So the last couple of years we've been kind of not floating along, but in flow state. So we've been playing really well. Things have been sticking, and we're in a situation now where at the top club at Leinster and in the green jersey, it's not quite sticking like it used to. So we're thinking a little bit more, and a lot of people are bringing up that game reading. A lot of people are talking like this is the mentality we got to go back to. That was the year where they all had the moustaches for Movember and all that sort of stuff. I think that was the mist all around the pitch and everything like that. It was amazing. It was an atmosphere, and we felt it in the stands. We felt that we have to be, player number 24 in this team squad, this match day squad. And we were there for them, and I do feel that our mentality has shifted quite a bit over the last maybe 6 months, where we are in general trying to think a little bit more like that. We're not frightened. Frightened is the wrong term. We welcome the challenge now, which is great, like we said, but we know a lot has to go right for us on Saturday to be in the shop window in the last 10 minutes. But we feel we have it in us. But we have everyone has been very, more confrontational than nice this week, which I think is a good sign.
It is a good sign. And remember, you make your own luck, Neil. Yes, you need the bounce here and there to go your way again, to be in it, moving into the last 10 minutes of the game. But you make your own luck. If you do what the team does, what they're capable of. Every player plays to his ability, and they make this. And this goes to the box as well. But just looking at Ireland now, if they do everything right on the night, their decision making is on point, and everything goes right on the night. It can happen. I'm telling you, it can happen. JP, what do you think?
No, look, it's two heavyweights for a reason. I mean, we've been measuring up against each other for a lot of years, and you always have that saying, Renan, it goes up and it goes down. There's always an ebb and flow to it. I do think that people are sometimes too hard on Rassie and the guys, because at the beginning of the season, we were saying, yes, but he needs to blood new players. Now he does it, and you can still see people that are unhappy about it. They'll say you at the beginning of the year you've got a aging squad. Now you bring in a couple of new guys. Now the first thing that says, "But where's this one or where's that one?" I think we've built unbelievable depth. I mean, it's great to see that. It's great to see guys putting their hands up. But yeah, I mean, the main thing for me is. Traditionally, if a guy is playing his 50th or his 100th game, they try to let him start the game, and obviously tactics and match and team dictates differently. That's why Erg is playing off the bench, but it's going to be a humdinger. I can't wait for it. It's good to see a lot of the guys back. I mean, and Ruan Lerkeer coming in for Louis de Jager that missed his appeal. I mean, that's quality. I'm a bit worried about the front row. We miss a guy like Ox, but time will tell what happens there. We've got Volko Low and the guys on the bench that will sort that out. Renan, where do you see this being won and lost?
Before I get to that, JP, you just mentioned Rassie. Neil, what's your take on Rassie? Look, that guy just innovates, and I'm not going to start now because I'm not going to start. But how does Ireland feel about Rassie Rasmus? Because you had him at Munster, and then he's evolved since.
So he is one of us, right? He's a cheeky guy. He loves winding people up, and we love that as a nation. We love to see that. And he was starting to do some great stuff in Munster, and that other story happened there at Munster. I think the big thing that it's interesting, you guys are talking about Rassie getting a bit of grief in the media and things like that. It's the same over here with Andy Farrell, but from the outside looking in, you know, what Rassie has done over there, if you look at the depth, you're talking about players missing and things like that, it's nearly plug and play when you look at the cap count creeping up on these fringe players coming in. You know, it is an amazing job he has done. And I think he's obviously got Felix Jones there who started off at my club down the road. So we'll count it as an Irish win. But no, the job he's doing is spectacular. It's a you know, the Last Dance documentary type thing. I know there's the Chasing the Sun documentary, but it's beyond sport what he's doing. And from the outside looking in, there's very few sports in the history of the planet that has a run that Rassie has been on, and I don't feel, now again, I'm from the outside, so I don't feel he has changed a huge amount as a human. He's not an arrogant guy. He'll take the piss. He'll let you know what he wants from you in very, very clear detail. And it's up to you then to go out there. But when he puts your name on the team sheet, that's him saying, this isn't a charity. This isn't a participation medal. You can do the job I'm asking you to do because I've seen you do it. Go do it. I'm not going to hold your hand. You go and do it. And I think when he retires eventually and goes into punditry, which will be amazing, I think then the whole rugby world and sporting world will appreciate what Rassie's done. We love him.
Well, I doubt he'll go into punditry because the moment he steps down, there will be offers and serious cash coming after him. But that's the thing. JP, you asked me about this team and what I'm looking at. The centre pairing, you know, you can't buy experience. And we've said that, Neil, so often on our show already. We've discussed that centre pairing at length. I'm not going to repeat it here, but again, the experience is just it's something to behold. Our 6, 7, 8. That's where I think we're winning the game. If we win the game again, if we win it, it should be at the breakdowns, and that's where you can do it. Pieter-Steph du Toit for me is going to be the difference. Again, not trying to be arrogant, but that guy is just every week is better than the week before. That's inhuman. It's just you can't explain it. He's a machine. So for me, I think Pieter-Steph is going to stand out on the weekend. And our team, Sasha, that guy is such an exciting player. You know, I think he's uncoachable, Kigo. I think he's uncoachable. I think he's the kind of guy that understands that you've got a game plan within which you operate. But within that, you can't coach him. He just goes out and does Sasha. And it works. Up until now, it's been working. So I'm looking forward to that.
I must be honest, from my perspective, there's two names that I always love to see in a Springbok side. If it's on the bench or in the 23, I don't care. Is Malcolm Marx and Kwagga Smith. Kwagga Smith coming off on the second half, that guy sticks to a ball like nobody's business. So I always like having that insurance there. And Malcolm Marx is, I think, playing some of the best rugby he's played ever. Look, I am a bit biased. He comes from the Lions, same with Kwagga, but quality guys and guys that really deserve to be there. Looking at the bench, Renan, is there anything? I mean, we've got the hybrid there, Andre Esterhuizen, who's reinvented himself. That's something that we were scratching our heads about at the beginning of the year, but it's come to save our asses a couple of weeks now with these red card things happening. And saying what we're talking about, Rassie, he's not afraid to make subs on the 10th minute or 15th or 20th minute until he gets his rhythm back. The bench, do you think we've got enough there, Rhiannon?
No, I think we do. I'd like to see some of you on Grobelaar this week against a really good opponent. All respect to Italy, but I want to see him against Ireland at the Aviva. That's where you want to show your worth at. And Malcolm Marx, we know what he brings. So again, subject to the match situation at the time, but I'd like to see Grobelaar get an extended run in the second half. See what he brings. And the same with Steenekamp. I want to see what he brings as well. But that bench, you cannot fault it. You cannot fault it. And also Mani Livok, our next thing. He's not as good as Sasha. He brings his own game. But for me, he's rock solid. He's got Neil. I don't get it. Mani is castigated in this country by so many people. I think he's a class player. What's your take on it? While we're on that topic.
It's a beautiful thing where we're talking from different ends of the world here, so we think and see different things. It's a fantastic team he's picked. Libak is class. There's no question about it. And I think a lot of the media is just looking for something to be annoyed about. It's the same over here with different players. He's a class player. That 23, again, injuries and concussions and stuff aside, is class. Like that team should be cheered from as soon as they wake up on match day, all the way up to the stadium. And it will be very difficult to pick a better team than that. It's a mark of respect to us, which we appreciate. But it's like every play. You look at the amount of 10s you guys have used over the last 12 months, for example. You've used more 10s than we have played international games. You've done more in the last 12 months than we've done in the last 12 years. That's the type of game Razi's playing. That's the type of thing he's trying to do. And I think, going back to Libak, listen, anyone who's saying he's not worth it or he's, whatever, they're just trying to wind you up. And I think that's part of media right now. It's not about being right. It's about winding people up and making me put a comment under it. And it works every time.
It does.
The bad thing about rugby these days, Neil, I don't know if it's the same. I'm a Lions supporter, so I always have been, always will be. But it's the weirdest thing. I don't know if it's the same for you guys in the URC. If the team wins, the team is great. If the team loses, the coach must be fired. Yeah. So it's one of those 5 things. And I don't want to call it that, but the normal rugby supporter or the average guy is got a very short attention span. So he'll only remember the past 5 minutes. He won't remember the class that the guys brought all that time ago. So, horses for courses. We had a couple of guys screaming last week because Pollard started against Italy. Why is he back? Why is it Sasha not playing and what? But yeah, like we're saying, it is good to have some depth going. Guys, I'm going to take us into predictions. I'm going to save the Springbok and the Irish game for last, obviously. If we take the games coming up this weekend, it's going to be interesting. I'm going to start with you, Rhiannon, if you take us through your predictions for the games coming up.
Okay, leave our game for last. JP, I suggest all the 3 of us give our predictions outside of the Bokke game, and then we end off with our 3 predictions for our game. All right, Wales against the All Blacks. Oh, how much is the question? Will the roof be open? If the roof is closed, it's a dry game, plenty. If the roof is open and it rains, plenty. Just how much is plenty? I'll leave that question open. France against the Wallabies. The Wallabies, I've said that they're not there. France will have to do a France of themselves on the night for Australia to win the game. Well, that can happen actually because it's France. That Latin blood, France, but I think France by about 10. Scotland against Tonga, bagpipes will play, the tears of joy will flow because they will finally win a game. And they will win it handsomely too. Scots by 15 more. England against Argentina, for me, again, it's a game of the weekend outside of ours. But I think England will have too much. That class outfit, again, they're very well coached, as is Argentina. But at Twickenham, for me, there's only one winner here, and it's not Argentina, unfortunately so. So I've got England there JP by about 9. Those are my predictions.
Hugo?
Yeah, I wish I could say different things about Wales and New Zealand. Oh my God. Like, I think the bet is, will New Zealand get to 100 points? That's where we're at. Like New
Are we back? I think I
Are we
lost signal
back?
there. I lost signal
Oh,
there.
I think it was all the Welsh supporters trying to send us messages at the one time, caused a meltdown. No, I was talking to myself there, but no, I was just saying, like, 100 points is obviously, we're not going to get there, but it's going to be a massacre, and it's character building, character breaking, all of those things. So New Zealand by all the points. And as much as I'd love Australia to put a shift in, I think they will put a better performance in, and I think the closer you can stay to France when they're expecting a big win, they can melt. But I do think it's France 2 scores. I think it's Scotland by a good score. And I think England are going to be tested at different points. I think there's going to be moments where it's not going their way, and they're either going to come out of that or they're not. And I think if they do come out of that, it's a really, really good win. It's kind of maybe 10, 12 points. If they don't come out of it, then it's a big problem for them.
Cool. Looking at the first one from my side, Wales and New Zealand. I don't know who's batting first. If New Zealand bats first, then they might reach 100. You're dead right there, my friend. I think it's going to go badly for them. As much as I love the Welsh, I love the passion, but I can't see it being less than 40, 50 points. I don't have any problem going against the Wallabies. It's well known I don't have any time for them. So I think France are going to put it off by about 10 to 15 points. Scotland will win by about 20, 25 against Tonga. And I will never, ever support the English. So I'm going for Losgemaal by 3 points. I will never, ever, ever support the English. That will never happen. They can play against, I can say against the ruling party in South Africa, and I'll still support the ruling party in South Africa at this stage. And that says a hell of a lot. All right, guys, talking about the big one this weekend, the Boks against the Irish. It is Saturday night, and our time, it's about 7:30. So it's late. You're going to be at a pub close to the stadium, Kigo. I'm going to let you take us off. Where's it being won or lost, and what is your prediction?
Well, just as we get into this, I'm starting to get really bad internet connection. I don't know what's happening. But no, based on what you just said there, you're welcome over for a pint anytime. But in terms of this game, I think we, as we said, it can happen. I want it to happen. I think there's a couple of players that need to do a really big job here. I think Ryan Baird is one of those players. I think our bench really need to hit the ground running, which they can do. I think there's literally 2 kicks of the game either way in this. I think that's how close it's going to be. I know in terms of form, maybe that's not the story that's being told, but I do feel that the teams are going in the right direction. And I feel, it's going to start clicking for us. So I'm thinking it's going to be 6 points either way. It's 2 penalty kicks. And I think it's going to be Jack Crowley sinking the second penalty for us to win by 6 points.
Rhiannon.
I think if it comes down to ability, the strength of the 2 squads, and player against player, there's nothing to choose. Yeah, nothing. For me, the difference lies in the Boks' mental strength. They are just, at this stage, you can't rattle them, you can't shake them, you can't get into their heads. And we've seen that now in the last many weeks. We've been put in different positions. Undeserved red card here, deserved red card there, injuries. We find ways to win. And I think that'll be the difference between the 2 teams. I think the Boks will win by their sheer-blooded mindiness. So, yeah, that's for me. I think the Boks, JP, very close game. Like Hugo said, it come down to a kick. Maybe a missed conversion somewhere, coupled with a drop goal. To make it a 1-point win. That happens. That's the thing. So I've got the Boks, JP, by a maximum of 3. It's a very close game.
Hugo, before I go, you mentioned something, and I agree with you. I think there's a massive responsibility on the referee and all the officials this weekend. I think after all the discussions and crap that's gone on about red cards and bunkers and stuff, the last thing I remember Nick Mallet, I think, said last week, the last thing we want to do halftime is be discussing performance of a referee. You want to be talking about tries and tackles and up and unders. You don't want to be talking about where they got it wrong or where they should have got it right. But it is a massive thing for them as well.
100%, and what we want is the game won on the pitch, not on a little screen or something like that. So there's a massive job for the referee, and they are feeling the pressure too. So they're either going to be very constrictive and blow the whistle, or they're going to let the game go a little bit. Like both of our teams have been on the wrong side of this in this November series, and so I think all we're asking is common sense. Even if I don't agree with the referee's decision, if you explain it to me quickly, okay, we move on. If we go back and forth and look at it in slow motion from this angle, that angle, as if they're Steven Spielberg, we don't need that in the game. We need to keep it moving. As we said earlier, the rules are complicated enough. We don't need a sidebar with the referee. So as long as they're quick, they're concise, and they're logical in what they're trying to say to us, whether we agree or disagree, we can respect that. So that's all we want out of the referees.
Yeah, just do your job. Just do your job.
Yeah.
Neil, what's the weather like on that side? Albert's asking any idea?
Sorry, Albert, do you know this is Ireland? It rains. We get 2 days of summer here. So what we have now today is the first cold day of the year. So it got down to 1 degree today. I had to make my children wear the big coats to school. So it's going to be cold. We've no roof on the Aviva, obviously. So it's going to be very, very cold on Saturday. So, hopefully there's a lot of running rugby. Hopefully there's a lot but you may find the lads are just trying to hold the ball and keep the ball in contact just for the body heat. But I don't think it's going to rain. It'll just be freezing cold.
Albert, I hope that answers your question. It's not, is it going to rain? It's how much is it going to rain? So there's your bit of the weather as well. From my side, look, guys, it all comes down to this. I said to my wife, we're going to watch a show with the in-laws in Nigel. They've got a guy singing, Devin Hofmeyer, and they had this guy scheduled to sing at 8 o'clock on Saturday night. And I smiled and I said, if they have this guy on, there will be no males watching this show except for halftime. And lo and behold, 2 days ago, the place changed the whole thing. The guy's going to sing after the game, which I think is great. I think it's going to be gut-wrenching. I think it's going to be nerves of steel on both sides. I do think the Boks have this box to kick or to tick, sorry, to excuse the pun. And I do think Rassie has made a lot of preparation for this game specifically, and a lot of things that he wants to get right. So I'm also very worried, and I'm also very stressed, but I am quietly confident, but also that it's going to be within 3 points. I don't think it's going to be a big margin, I must be honest. But yeah, looking forward to it. Let's hope the English referee and his friends get it right. Maybe I shouldn't talk bad about the English if he's the English referee. Oh, crap. But yeah, thanks a lot, Kigo. It was great having you on. We'll definitely have you on again. Have a couple of pints on us. You've got Rhiannon's number. Send us a couple of pics so we can put it on the WhatsApp group so we can see just exactly how cold it is. We really enjoyed having you on.
Cheers, lads. Great to meet you.
Great stuff. En dit was nou die Losgemaal. Jy is op die regte plek. Dit was nou 'n bietjie Afrikaans vanaand. We had a good English friend on. And just to let him know, I didn't say anything bad about him. I just said it was great having him on, even in Afrikaans. Enjoy it. Rhiannon, lekker om jou op te hê. And next week, we will hopefully have somebody from Wales on, if there are any of them left. If they haven't been put into an asylum somewhere. But yeah, enjoy the rugby. Go big. And can Argentina please knock that guy's socks off? Have a good one.
Want my hart Van my hart loop rek nie